Hi everyone. I don't think I'm gonna do intro or outro for this video. This might be a little bit of a long video, but figured it was important to, I don't know. Maybe this will help somebody know that they're not alone in what they're going through. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a trigger warning up on the screen before we go ahead and start. Got my rat tails here. So today I wanted to talk about my trauma and what created us. My name is Max, and I am the previous host of our system. Sadie took over for me because I needed a break, and oh man, I don't even know if I'm ready to be back or not, but I figured it was about time to go ahead and share my side of things and what has happened to me. Well, to my system. I think Ashley has most of the memories, so she's going to help me out here and there. And if you see me looking off of camera, I'm dissociating. Talking about trauma is hard, even vaguely, so if I'm looking off camera a lot, it's actually snowy outside. I might show a picture of that. And it's just really pretty to look outside, so it's pretty grounding. And yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. So by now you have the trigger warnings for everything that will be mentioned in this video. If you don't feel comfortable with those topics, feel free to stop watching. So we actually don't know what our original split was. We have three very distinct memories of when we were younger. We have one of our brother on top of us, and that one's the supposed first fracture or split when we very first became a system. We have one of us falling down the stairs really hard and hurting ourselves really bad. And the other one is of our parents' divorce. And that was when we were 5. Birds are probably gonna get a little loud. I'm sorry, guys. Guys! So, our original trauma was... Oh my god. Hold on, guys. So our original trauma was of our brother raping us, essentially. We were 4 or 5 at the time. We do have an altar that says that we were split when we were 3, which means there might be something else that actually caused our first split. But we don't remember that far back. Most of us don't anyway. And if we have those memories, nobody's speaking up. And so we were 4 or 5 on our original memory. And that was the same time our parents were getting a divorce. which was the same time our mom's sister brought our cousins over, who are about the same age as us. And that's about the same time we fell down the stairs. So there was multiple things happening at the same time, and we have this memory of us like cowering behind our mom when our mom and dad were fighting, asking them to stop, and our dad yelling at our mom saying, "Look at what you're doing to your daughter," trying to use us as a pawn, I guess. So yeah, there was a lot going on during that time. And then when our parents finally divorced and we started to go see our mom separately, we don't really remember between the ages of 5 to 7, but we do know that our mom got married to our stepdad, Steve. And we moved into this lake house, and it was a beautiful lake house. We loved swimming there, fishing. It was fantastic. But our stepdad was verbally abusive. He would give us hour-long to 3-hour-long lectures at 3 o'clock in the morning about stupid stuff, too. Kid stuff. Like, one time when we were 10, we picked our nose. But when we were 7 was when our brother Steven, he walked in on our other brother, our brother Jesse, and went and told our mom what was happening. And from there, we barely remember what happened. We remember sitting on the couch thinking we were in trouble. Our brother Jesse yelling at our mom saying, "You're not my mom." We don't really remember the cops showing up. But from there, what we've been told, and we can't remember any of this, we were told that the cops were definitely called, and there was a social worker assigned to our case. We went to counseling. We only remember our last session of counseling, the counselor saying we were fine. But apparently, the social worker was assigned to us for 6 months, said the home was safe, even with our brother living there, bullying us from there on out. He bullied us up until the moment that he left home. I think he was 18 or 19. And we're like, I think he's 6 years older than us. So that would have made us, no, that's not right. 4 or 5, I don't remember how old our brother is. But I do know throughout the years he's given us some scars. We have a wicked scar on our knee from him shoving us into a wall where there was metal showing. We scraped our knee on that wall. He would torment us and scream at us, do that thing of pretending to be your friend and then joking about something behind your back. Our brother Steven was definitely had something going on. He wasn't all right in the head. I know he had ADHD. he may have had autism, but the only thing our dad wanted to accept was ADHD, but our brother just had meltdowns. He would get into screaming fits, even when he was a teenager, and our brother Jesse thought it was the funniest thing just to pick on him and torment him. Um, there was always fighting in the house. And I think when we were 12 or 13, our stepmom came into the picture, who also verbally abused us. I know that there were a lot of times that she would have us stay up past our bedtime to do chores. We definitely pretended to fall asleep so we would avoid getting yelled at by her. Whenever her car rolled up, we hid in our room and we didn't want to interact at all. So we withdrew from life, really, because we had our mom who loved us, but then we had our dad who loved us, but had that tough love, get over it type of thing. Our brother, who was still in the house even after everything we had gone through. Ashley's kind of co-con, so if my voice sounds gravelly, that's why. Ashley was always on high alert because, he traumatized us for 3 or 4 years, something. And then we had our stepmom who continued to yell at us, and our stepdad who always lectured us and scared us, and to make the point clear, he burnt a cigarette on our brother Steven's arm. He made us kids go out and pick a switch and scared us by smacking it against the wall. He never hit us. But he did smack it against the wall to show exactly how terrible it would feel if he were to use that on us. And then in school, we were constantly bullied for our weight, what we looked like, the clothes we wore, all the way up until high school. High school it got better for some reason. I think because we kind of stayed to ourselves for the most part. We were in band, but in elementary school it was awful. Any chance anyone got, we would get in trouble. One time we had these Velcro pants that were digging into our skin, so we adjusted the Velcro pants at recess. And this boy, we still remember his name, he told the teacher and we got in trouble. He said that we were trying to take our pants down in front of him. We had a friend that would talk like nose to nose with us so nobody else could hear. Got accused of being a lesbian. We had trouble when we were a minor talking to people who are older than us on sites that we shouldn't have been on. And that was a constant for quite some time. We were so confused about everything, about what was going on in our head. We were trying to sort things out with our sexuality. And we were doing it the wrong way. Which is why we get so nervous when minors contact us. And we'll talk to minors, but helping minors is just, it's scary for us because we were in that situation when we were younger and we don't particularly know how to help. And since we were bullied so much, we have self-conscious about our weight, always how we look. Max can't wear certain things. No crop tops or short shorts for Max. They get so self-conscious about what they look like. They can go around wearing PJ pants to the store and hoodies, nobody really cares. But showing skin of any kind is just frowned upon. Our dad kind of fed into that one as well. Telling us that we, shouldn't have been wearing bikinis and things like that. Our grandparents, I think it was our grandma or aunt, told us we couldn't buy skinny jeans because we had a muffin top. And to this day, it's still really hard to think of ourselves as beautiful people. It's hard for us to know what healthy sexuality is. We're still finding ourselves in that area. We look down upon ourselves like how could anyone truly like us when no one liked us, And we're different now, of course, we have this confidence around us. We have you guys. And of course, it's not everything that happened when we were younger. The thing with d.i.d is there's so much that has happened that it's so hard to try and go over the timeline because there's so much that is overlapping. Especially for us, we had 2 houses and school, and no matter where we went, it was always bad. Our dad didn't notice us coming home crying from school. Horses were our savior, they didn't judge. They accepted you for who you were, and if you did something wrong, they'd tell you by throwing their head or pinning their ears or something. It's easy to tell with an animal, if you're doing something you're not supposed to. They just, that's the only way they can communicate, and that's the way we can figure out for ourselves. We don't really swim anymore. We hate being called a redhead. It's hard for us to sleep alone. And there's a lot of systems out there that have issues with too many thoughts because there's so many. We have issues with no thoughts at all. We learned at a very young age to not think. Don't think about it. If you don't think about it, it can't hurt you. Of course, we were wrong in that aspect, but when you're 8 or 9 and you've been told by your stepmom and stepdad that you're fat, your schoolmates, people just don't like you anymore. I mean, we had a friend in church that we knew in church. We were really good friends with her, and then she went to our school. and she became friends with the popular people and never spoke to us again. And finally, we hit college and we were free. Well, sort of. We were left with our disheveled self. We felt so awful about ourselves. We couldn't really keep up with the classes. And then, you know, there's Stacy and that whole thing. Our life would have been so different if she hadn't come into our lives. We wish she never would have. We're always appreciative of that, you know, we got Aether system out of everything. But it's still just really hard to cope with it all. Our childhood was not a childhood. We were forced to understand what sex was at a way too young of an age. And we just, every day of our school lives was awful. Up until high school. Always bullied, always the one joke asked out, always the one to be picked last and whatever. You know, nobody ever wanted to partner with us. The friends that we had weren't very good friends. We told our boyfriend in high school that we had d.i.d, and he said, "You're not traumatized enough for that." Like, I just want you guys, anybody out there, to know you don't have to be traumatized enough for anybody. Nobody gets to tell you that. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous standard. You have to be this traumatized to have d.i.d. A child's brain doesn't care. If it can't cope, if that particular child can't cope, that the brain decides, okay, well, this is the best way to go. And nobody's trauma is worse than the others. Nobody gets to compare their trauma to anybody else's. Everyone's brain is different. And if we ever hear anybody on our channel say, "My trauma is worse than yours," you best believe they're not going to be allowed on our channel anymore. And comments will be deleted if that's the case, and that person blocked from our channel, and there's no way we would allow that. Because everyone is different, and everyone experiences trauma differently. something that could be exciting for somebody could be traumatic for somebody. There's no right or wrong way to exist. And I think that's all I have to say for this today. It's pretty vague, and I hope it was tolerable, even with me just looking off camera most of the time. But I hope y'all could learn something, feel connected, see that it's okay. All things we didn't have when growing up or figuring this out. Alright, well, thank you, Gob Squad. I know this was a happy video, but thank you very much for watching. And our next videos are going to be a lot lighter. We have like 10 of them planned and are filming 4 of them today, and it's just a big crazy time. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video, whatever that may be. Thank you all, and have a great day, night, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. Bye, guys.